She's the biggest teenager, and in her first TV interview, we speak exclusively with 17-year-old Georgia Davis, who weighs over 40 stone.
Today, she talks about the truth behind her recent weight gain and why she's now determined to beat her binge-eating battle once and for all. Georgia's story is next.
Georgia, the big interview of the morning. Also looking forward to welcoming into the studio Mr. Ashes to Ashes and Life on Mars. That's Philip Glenister talking about lies, deception and murder in Mad Dogs, which is doing very good business on Sky 1 at the moment.
Yeah, we're having a bit of a laugh later. Ed Burns is here, revealing all on Cracking America, becoming a dad, that's always fun, and cartwheeling for comic relief.
Surprise, surprise, Scylla's getting rowdy in Benidorm. Gwynny's dancing with glee, and Will Young's all spiritual in Bedlam. Don't miss Sam and Mark's all-star TV lineup.
Talking of lineups, what's hitting the headlines this morning? Good morning, Samantha.
Good morning. Great pictures today of Jennifer Aniston, totally blonde. So we're asking, do blondes really have more fun? I've got no hope if they have. Plus, with news of a bracelet that tells a man when his wife's going to get PMT, we want to hear from you. You can email us at thismorning@itv.com, tweet us through Twitter, just @ITVthismorning, or you can have your say on everything we do on our official Facebook page. You can also comment on our website, itv.com/thismorning. Send us your comments before midday today for a chance to get them on air, and I'll be back a little bit later.
A bracelet that tells you when a woman's going to get PMT, it kind of probably bursts into flames or something. It's a bit of a warning.
I know there's plenty of other warnings that make it all quite obvious. More hub action today. Denise Robertson taking your calls. Hello, Denise. Good morning. Is your love life on the rocks? Not yours, Denise. I'm just talking in general. Once she get home, her weight ballooned again. The last 2 years, she has doubled to 40 stone, 6 pounds. She's here in the studio this morning, and alongside you, you've got a hypnotherapist and life coach, Steve McKeown, who we'll talk to as well. Georgia, why did it go so wrong after America?
Well, I think the first day I noticed it was when the first day I came back. I had all these plans to continue what I did in America at home.
Sure.
And it just didn't really go right. I mean, the first day I come back, I had nothing healthy in the house to work with, so we ended up having fish and chips. And from that night, I thought in my head that this is going to be a lot harder than I ever thought it would be.
Do you know,
and it did.
Everybody will have an opinion of you, but on meeting you and sitting here, I realised that it doesn't matter if you're your size, you're my size, or you're 5 pounds overweight. The same questions and the same predicaments apply. And Steve, I could see Georgia talking there, and you were just itching to get in here
definitely. I mean,
straight away as to how this applies.
Yeah, you'll find a lot of people lose weight on general diets, but the problem that you'll see is that once they've lost all the weight, whether that's through a deprivating diet, through calorie counting, all the rest of it, there's still that issue still inside. So you'll find even a very thin person.
What is the issue? What do you think is the issue? Do you know what the issue is with you, Georgia?
It's I think it's more to do with my mindset. I've got a lot of issues to break down.
I think it's a lot of it's the bad management of thinking. Now, giving Georgia perspective behind her problem will give her the power to empower her to change the way she thinks.
Do you know what that problem is?
Well, we're dealing with issues at the moment of the basically memories of the past, and as we go through those, we can start to release those feelings and actually get her to see, you know, in a slightly different way.
Well, the thing is, with weight gain, it doesn't happen overnight, does it, Georgia? So this has happened over many years, and I think a lot of people watching, particularly mums, and I'm not here to blame your mum. We asked your mum if she wanted to come today, and unfortunately she couldn't because she's looking after your stepdad, Arthur, who's not very well. So she would have been here, but she couldn't. So she knows we're going to talk about this. From a very young age, you know, this weight must have been creeping on. So there will be people that say, well, it's the mum's fault. You know, the mum's let her eat rubbish food, not healthy food, and actually, that to me was one of the saddest things when you said, you know, I came back from America, I'd lost all this weight, you'd done so well, you're feeling so positive, and your mum didn't have any healthy food in the house.
No.
So without that support, you know, that's very easy for you to tip back into bad habits. So what do you say to people that say, well, it's their mum's fault, obviously?
Well, I would say it's not that simple. I mean, my mum did the best she could, and she didn't have the training that I did when I was out in America. She couldn't come over and understand everything that I was taught at the time. I mean, I think in some ways a lot difficult for her to change everything than it was for me at the time.
Your mum, as we can see, you know, your mum has her health problems, doesn't she? And in fact, you know, you've been a carer for your mum since you were, what, 10 years old?
Yeah.
Do you think that has something to do with it, that you had all this responsibility when you were 10 of looking after your mum, you're in the house a lot, maybe not doing all the normal things that 10-year-olds and up to teenage years do? Yeah,
basically I was the one who was taking control. Mum couldn't because I was looking after her.
So you came back from America, you were full of optimism, hope and promise and determined to carry on, and then it's gradually crept back on and crept back on. How do you feel now when you look in a mirror? What's the Georgia staring back at you?
I feel that I need to change because I want to. I mean, I've hit the lowest that I could really get to. I mean, it's got to a point where I have to change, and I want to. And
well, your health, I mean, you would die if you don't change.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I hate to be so blunt, but that is the case, isn't it?
Well, you're not being blunt, you're being quite understanding, and Steve's quite understanding. But you know, Georgia, because you live in a world that is quite fattest, right? They don't like fat people out there. And there'll be a lot of people who will be shouting at the TV screen that it's your fault, do something about it, change it. They all have their opinion. They don't like fat people, right?
Yeah.
So what is your opinion of you?
My opinion of me is that I'm changing my life now, and that's why I'm sought out the help, and I've got it. I have Steve, and I have Amanda, and I have people helping me, and this is it. This is what I'm doing now. I'm going to do it.
What have you had to live with in terms of opinion and discrimination and insults and that sort of thing?
Well, everyone has their opinion about every situation. I mean, I've had some people saying it's all my fault. I've had some people on my side helping me, and I was like, you've got mixed opinions about everyone, and everyone's entitled to their opinion to every situation. If they say it's my fault, then that's them.
How did you meet this guy? How did he come into your life, and what's he do for you?
I met this guy from Amanda, and
yeah, we actually met around about 7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And during that time, I've actually treated her 5 times, and we often speak on Skype and everything else. And you know, in that time, we've made a fair bit of progress. The fact that Georgia's taking control, starting to take control.
How difficult is your life day to day, Georgia? Just getting about, you know, and carrying all this weight. It's a terrible strain on your heart. You must get out of breath. Is life a struggle for you?
It is a little bit of a struggle. I mean, yeah, it is hard sometimes, but I have to see it in ways that I have to do these things. Otherwise, I'm just basically giving up. Yeah. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to give up.
Do you go out and about, Georgia? Do you have much of a life outside the house?
Very little, but I try and get out about when I can, but I don't much.
Yeah, you know, any of us who, you know, are down about something, everybody has their problems, and say it's weight. A lot of times when people feel they're overweight or they've binged the night before or whatever, they don't want to get out of bed. Do you have days like that?
Yeah, there are some days where I just want to stay in my room and just be to myself.
Do you have friends? Do you have a social circle?
Yeah, I do have a social circle. I have a group of best friends, and I'm quite well known throughout where I live in Aberdeen, so I know a lot of people, and most of those people are actually quite understanding to my situation.
When I met you, I was quite interested immediately. You had a very bubbly disposition, I thought she had, Steve, for somebody who you wouldn't blame her if she was much more introverted and depressed.
The thing with Georgia, she has so much willpower anyway. She's already proven that she can lose the weight. Sometimes we can get put in environments that can affect the way we are. And effectively, all it is with Georgia, I believe, is a lot of training and coaching in the sense that she can gain back the things that she wants. She can already see where she's heading. It's just going to take time.
But then what about the supportive environment? Because that, you know, for everybody, like Eamon said, whether it's a few pounds you want to lose, you know, you have all the slimming clubs or, you know, the support of your family. If the, you know, the environment in America clearly suited you, you said, you know, you were with other like-minded people, they were being taught about nutrition. It is education about food a lot of the time.
It is,
But then back in her home environment, where the healthy food isn't at home, you're saying your mum struggles with, you know, cooking healthy food, she doesn't really know how to do it. That's where it counts. So how do you, if someone's not in the right environment, how do you
We're working towards, I mean, there's a lot of education when it comes to the parenting and all the rest of it that we'll talk about in the future, but we're working towards the element where we're making Georgia feel better about herself, so that she's turning 18 soon and she's got this desire that she would like to move out of home. You know, and you know, that's a massive step for anybody of her age, going through the issues that Georgia's going through.
Do you feel that you've lost your childhood through weight?
Yes, a little bit I do. I mean, I've always been a lot older mentally, because I was a carer when I was 10. I've never really been a child. I've always had to be the grown-up in a sense.
To lose 15 stone, how could you imagine that amount of weight? that is absolutely incredible. It must have been so difficult, so hard, so tough.
Have we got the picture of Georgia?
To do that. But then the great injustice about weight gain, of course, is terribly hard to take it off, and then you put that on and even more, which I presume goes on relatively easily.
Yeah. But I think it's like in my mind I can already see what I want to be.
Yeah.
And go on.
No, I'm just saying there's that headline. What did it feel like seeing that yesterday in the front page of the newspapers?
Well, it's what they put, and it's true, but to be honest, I know that's not where I'm going to be in a month's time. I'm going to lose the weight because I'm determined to do it.
When you think of the 18-year-old Georgia, you know, when you thought about when you were young, and you think, oh, I'll be 18 one day, what did you imagine the 18-year-old Georgia would be?
Well, back then I really didn't know, because I never really thought about the future that much. But I always thought I'd just be like normal, like everyone else. Like.
What about the 21-year-old Georgia? If we come back when you're 21, what can we expect to see? What would you like to be? What Georgia would you like to see in the mirror?
I would like to be happier, skinnier, job, college, and just a normal life.
Boyfriend, husband, babies, all those things?
Definitely.
Steve, is this a disease, and can she be cured?
I hate the term disease. I hate the term, you know, people that say addicted, because I think that compounds the problem. Because when someone believes something as powerful as an addiction, it means that it's obviously something hard. Actually, Georgia's got the strength and the empowerment to go ahead and do this. It's like calling it a genetic disease. You know, as soon as you say to someone it's genetic, they just give up. Okay.
Why didn't you go down the gastric band route, for instance?
I personally, myself, I don't want to correct my problems through surgery. If I'm going to correct this, and I will, I'm going to correct it through exercise and dieting. I don't want to go down the surgery route. I think it's not for me.
Listen,
I don't agree with it.
We've seen you do it before. We wish you well. We'd love to kind of follow you.
You're
and
very
you
positive.
come back. You are very positive, and I'm sure you can do it. And with Steve's help and your friends and family, we wish you well. Thank you, because I know it's not easy to come and talk about it, especially with that label that everybody gives you. But we wish you well, and happy birthday, 18th in April.
Thank you.
I mean, I've only got 2 or 3 pounds to lose, and I can't even do that, like even my days. Goodness me.
I might book you, Steve.
Thank you very much indeed. We're going to take a break there. We're going to have a laugh right after that. We've got the brilliant funny man, Mr. Ed Byrne, who's not too bad at dancing either.
No, very good.
Yes, very light in his feet after this.
Feel closer with Nivea, the nation's favourite skincare.
It's like a jungle.